How do you tell the difference if they're all labeled country style ribs?
You can tell.
You can.
The loin ones are real lean looking. They look more like looks like a pork chop, but it's thick and square or rectangle, And then the ones that have kind of some bone, there's going to be some connective tissue. There's going to be some fat, marbling in it. Those are from that shoulder area, and those need to be break down because you're breaking down that tough connective tissue and rendering that fat. So they need to go longer like you would cook a pork butt.
Welcome to Malcolm Reed's How to BBQ Right, a podcast where we talk about barbecue, share recipes, and discuss all things delicious. And now, here's your host, Malcolm and Rochelle Reed.
Hey, welcome back to the How to BBQ Right podcast. I'm your host, Malcolm Reed, joined by my lovely, talented wife, Miss Southern Shell. We got Tyler over here on the boards. It's another rainy day in Hernando.
We've been dealing with weather.
Hey, we had to close the shop yesterday, y'all. We had another line of storms. They called it they did say it was like a EF. I never heard of an EF0 tornado. But man, we've had the worst luck this year with tornadoes in our area. It's been way too close for comfort.
For sure.
A lot of people had damage.
Tyler's dodging trees. He's got these big trees that surround his house. And it's like, were you out there in the middle of the night after that storm come through?
Yeah, I just want to go check everything out. Austin was getting me nervous. He works here at the shop too, and he was texting me, and he was like, you need to go make sure that there's no trees that are like about to fall on your house or anything like that, And so we went and looked, and there were definitely some limbs hanging down and stuff, but there was definitely some people that were way worse off than us.
So. There's some people that's got, complete trees through their living rooms and fell on cars. And luckily, I haven't heard of anybody that's been injured. Thank God nobody got hurt. But this storm just come up out of nowhere. We didn't have any, there wasn't no sirens going off at our house.
No.
They did, about an hour after, I was sitting in the living room, and it's, it's calm after the storm, I guess. And then you hear the sirens. I'm like, well, now they turn them on.
That's what I said. I was like, they did that so that some people on Hernando Happening could be like, oh, no, I heard them.
Yeah.
That's
exactly what it. It's like, y'all a little late. Y'all missed the boat on that one. I'd like to have had that warning about 9:30 instead of midnight.
We are doing a really big giveaway on the community.
Are we announcing it officially today? Does it start like the release of this podcast?
Yeah. So the release of this podcast on Friday, May the 23rd, one of our biggest giveaways ever are going on. So
every time, I feel like they keep getting
you keep
bigger.
getting a bigger. So what is this one? What can you win?
This one's kind of big in mass, so this is the way I'm thinking of it. And we're trying to do a whole summer of big giveaways. It's kind of like our idea, so we're calling our summer grilling giveaways. But anyways, this month is going to be, we're partnering up with Primo Ceramic Grills, and the first place winner is going to receive one Primo Grill XXL all-in-one.
The big one?
The big one. So last year we gave away the XL. This year we went a little bigger and gave away the XXL.
Oh, it's the Big Daddy. Y'all gonna like this. This one's the Monster Primo. It's a huge grill. They come out with it just a couple years ago. It hadn't been on the market a long time.
I don't even know if it's a couple.
Yeah,
it might be just like year
They
and a
brought
half.
me one when we launched it, and that's the one I have. That's right beside the other one on the big cart.
Yeah.
It's a beast.
It's huge. Yeah. It should be able to cook pretty much everything. I think they even say that you can cook a whole hog on it.
I saw somebody do it. It's crammed on there. I wouldn't recommend it. Maybe a suckling, a little suckling pig, but you're not going to put like a 150-pounder on it. But it is a big grill. You can cook
You can feed a lot of people.
Yeah.
How many slabs of ribs do you think you can get on it?
Oh, I don't know. Standing up, you could probably get 6 or more. They make multiple levels for it. It's got the rotisserie. So what all do you get? Are you just getting the grill? Or?
So you're getting the XXL all-in-one. So the all-in-one is like the cart, comes with the shelving on the side and stuff. Okay. Pretty much like everything you need to get to grilling with the Primo. Yeah. And then we're going to throw in a How to BBQ Right Malcolm's Cookin pack.
Okay.
And so that's like our barbecue rub, AP season, vinegar sauce, knife, pretty much everything you need to get to grilling on that thing we're giving away. So
sweet.
That's first place. Then we're going to pick a 2nd through 5th place as well. So y'all are also going to get a Malcolm's Cookin pack. Unfortunately, we can't give all the community members an XXL. If I could, I would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, that's still awesome, though.
And all we're asking for is, so it's going to be at the pin post at the top of the facebook.com/H2Q community. That's our Let's Get to Cooking community over on Facebook. It's going to be the pin post at the top. Go to the comment section of that. And all I'm asking for is we just want to see what your favorite thing to grill is. So normally we kind of have it centered around game day or something like that. I just want to know like what everybody's favorite recipe that they cook when people come over to hang out. Like, what do you cook them?
So all you got to do is comment on that pin post that will be at the top of the community page.
Pretty easy to.
That's the easiest entry there is. You could put hot dogs. It could be whatever.
What's your favorite?
Yeah. My favorite thing to cook?
Yeah.
Whole hog. favorite just because it's an event.
Yeah.
You know, it's a barbecue event. It's not just like, oh, well, tonight for dinner we're having whole hog. It's not one of those type things. You got to plan for a whole hog cook. But it is my favorite thing because it's fun. It takes, 20 plus hours, and
And a bunch of buddies.
a lot of
And a cooler.
bunch of tall tales and cold beers, and it's just a lot of fun.
And then head to the comments after you're done, and I just want y'all to vote on everybody's. So for this particular contest, it's not necessarily a popularity vote, but there will be a popularity vote giveaway done. So whoever gets the most amount of votes,
Oh, we'll get something else.
we'll get kind of a preliminary prize,
Okay.
you could say.
So we're really randomly just going to pick one of the comments, and one lucky
Yeah.
person's going to.
And then we're going to pick the 5 other winners. So
Okay,
out of our favorite.
that sounds fair. All you got to do is look for that post when this podcast is live, make a comment, and you can tell people and get them to vote for yours to win some of the other, to have a chance at winning something else besides the main one. But
And you got 2 full weeks. Starts on Friday, May the 23rd at the start of this podcast, and it's going to end on Thursday, June the 5th, with the winners announced on Friday, June the 6th.
so kick Memorial Day off by trying to win a new grill.
Heck.
That'd make a good summer, wouldn't it? You won you a Primo XXL.
Heck yeah.
Oh, big announcement. Congratulations goes out to Heath Riles and the whole Heath Riles barbecue crew. Won Memphis and May, your grand champion in the rib division. Shout out, Heath. Good job, brother.
He won ribs last year,
Yep.
but this year he won ribs and grand champion.
Yep.
So,
Shout out to, and we're going to give a shout out to Robbie Royal for winning the Smoke Slam. Mark and Jamie went and cooked Smoke Slam with Swine Life, and they did fantastic. They finaled in shoulder, second place.
I think they just call it pork now.
Is it pork?
Yeah.
Well, pork. And then they also, I think they were like 6th in hog, 7th in ribs. They were top 10.
They were
in
top 10
everything.
in
So,
everything. Yeah.
They got to walk the stage 3 times at the Smoke Slam event.
And they got second in wings.
Yeah.
And
second
they actually
wings.
tied for first. It
that
was
that was a sushi wing Mark did on the website.
Yeah. So they got a perfect score, but when they have multiple perfect scores, they do a digital coin toss. So
Well, good. Shout out. And everybody else that got called and got to walk, congratulations. It's a big weekend in Memphis for a contest.
did you know at Smokeslam they had an eating contest?
What is that? What was that?
24 pulled pork sandwiches, 10 minutes.
No way.
And you know what the prize
Can you imagine
was?
that? What was it?
$5,000.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
That's a pretty stout contest to try
Yeah.
to eat 24 sandwiches.
James Webb won.
How many pounds of pulled pork do you think that is?
I don't know.
I
I
would
saw the
guess
little
a
video.
I would guess a quarter pound at least on the sandwich.
I'm sure they measured them to keep it equal.
So you've got, just say, 4 divided by 8. Let's see, that's a pound times 4. That's 2 or 3 pounds of pulled pork.
Whew.
My mouth ain't ciphering, but what would that be? 4 sandwiches would be a pound. And then you got to eat 24 of those. So what's 24 divided by 4 real quick, Shell?
I don't know.
That's 6. So that's what I'm looking at. 6 pounds. That's more. That's a butt and a half.
Oh my God, really?
Could you eat that much?
No.
Plus the buns.
Yeah, plus
the
buns.
sauce.
They did have big cups of water there.
I think it would be a challenge to eat a whole butt. Like there's you a contest. In 10 minutes, you got to eat. God, you'd be so sick. A whole butt.
It's got to be one of the worst things you could eat.
Yeah,
mass
for eating
amount of.
contests. Yeah. Just to kind of give a shout out, the World Junior Barbecue at Smokeslam, totally bodacious. He pretty much swept that one.
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
He won pork ribs, chicken, and grand champion, and then LG Barbecue won brisket.
Good job.
And then Whole Hog, Fireman John's got it.
Oh, shout out, John.
Pork Rescue Smokers got it. And ribs, Fireside Smokers got it, with Rescue Smokers getting.
Heck yeah. The grand.
Yeah. And in Memphis and May, which they're kind of dueling contests right now, which.
Yeah, I ain't crazy about that, but hey, it is what it is.
Heath got ribs, Bob Gibson with shoulder, and Will Be Q was whole hog.
Yeah, good job.
And we cooked pulled pork for 350 people.
Yeah, we did.
We did a
That
little
was a
video.
Palmer home. They have every year they do a skeet tournament, like sporting clays, and we've been doing the lunch for them for the past, I don't know how many years, 3 or 4 years maybe.
Yeah.
And it's usually about 350 people. So we did a little video on how we did that.
The old Hickory cooks.
Cooking machine.
It cooks a great
Yeah.
pork.
Oh, that was a light load too for it. What did we put 4 cases of butts on? It was like 32 butts. It took us maybe 15, 20 minutes to put them on.
Maybe a little longer than
It'll
that.
take long. We spread you. Takes
what's
you longer
what's
to
the process? First, you got
to fire that pit up, and for that one, usually just throw in a bag of Royal Oak, couple sticks of wood, turn the igniter on. That dude fires up, and it'll come up to temperature in about a half hour. By the time you can get all of your butts laid out and seasoned, the pit's usually ready. So we fire it up, get it set. We knew this was going to be a long cook. We gave ourselves plenty of time, put it on like 225. It's going to let it cruise all night. Take the butts out of the pack. That's what takes the longest, taking the butts out of the pack. And so we set up like 2 6-foot tables on PVC pipe so you're not breaking your back. That's the old fat man trick. You don't need but about what? I think it's about 17-inch piece of PVC pipe. I forgot what the
exact measurement is.
I think it's 16 or 17 inches. Gets it the right height for me.
So you put one PVC pipe on each table leg.
Yeah.
So it just brings it up. It
just elevates that table. It's a back saver. Covered. We had some little tablecloths we put over the table, but whatever to keep your tables.
It's clean. A disposable plastic food grade tablecloth.
Open them butts up. Well, we got ours. We got them from Frankie. Shout out to Frankie for helping us source those butts. But he ordered me from them down at Primo's, the local butcher shop here in Hernando. And if you got to order any butts or anything like that, Frankie can handle it for you. He can have them there ready for you.
Those are pretty big.
Oh, they were all Smithfields. They were good looking butts.
Yeah.
Sometimes you go, and I bought them other places, and you'll get one little bitty one. You'll have these big monsters, and the packs these were all pretty close to the exact same size. I mean, they're all, about 8 to 10 pound average.
Which is important when you're cooking.
Yeah, you want them to be pretty even so they'll cook the same. Got them all spread out. Dumped probably a 5-pound bag and about half of another 5-pound bag of hot rub in a tub. This is the easiest way. If you're having to season that many butts at one time, just make you a butt tub. We had all that seasoning in there. We thought usually Mikey was taking them out of a package. I was picking the butt up.
He would crosshatch them.
Yeah, he would pull them out of the package and crosshatch the fat cap. That means just cut with a knife about 1-inch spacings down one side, turn that butt and do it again. Kind of makes a checkerboard pattern. Then I would take the butt, put it fat down in that tub of rub, take my hands, cover the top and sides, flip it over, pat the top back, set it to the side. So we had this assembly line of seasoning going. That's the fastest way to season that many butts. And you probably do waste a little bit of rub doing that because it's not going to be.
If you're cooking 3.
Yeah, if you're cooking 3 butts, it ain't worth it. But if you're cooking 4 cases, that's the way to go because that's about how much rub we'd use. And if whatever's left, you throw it away. There's no keeping it because you done contaminated it. But that's easy. Then we loaded them on the pit and shut the door and let that dude eat. I mean, I had now y'all heard me talking about the ThermalWorks, the new RFXs. They work great. But the one thing I can't figure out with them is how to get longer battery life out of those probes. Because for a long cook, all 3 of them, I had 3 of them in. They were fully charged when I put them in, but I only got about right at 7 hours of monitoring time. So and I don't know if there's a workaround that, if you can go into settings and change because it's probably because it's repeating so often. And I thought I went in and set it to the longest repeating option I could. There may be some advanced settings that I don't know, that I haven't played around with. I need to talk to somebody at ThermalWorks and see. But I only got about 7 hours out of them before they would need to be recharged, which is great for most of your cooks. But if you're doing an overnight cook and you want to monitor it the whole way.
How long were they on? 12 hours?
Yeah, they cooked about 12 hours.
Yeah, okay.
So really what I should have done, instead of putting those probes in there at the beginning, I should have because why do you need to know how cold it is at the start? I care less about what the temperature is till it gets up over 175, 180.
Yeah, you're more worried about it last 7 hours.
Exactly. So I think they would work. That the next time I use these probes for a long cook, I'm going to give myself, I'm not going to put them in till halfway.
Yeah, but you'd have had to woke up, drove up to the shop,
and then put them. Yeah,
and then put them in.
But I mean, like we started them at 7:00. We wanted them done about 7 a.m. We got back up here at like 5. I got up here early that next morning and just looked at them because I know those probes died sometime in the night when I was asleep. When I went to bed, they were, working fine. That was a great thing about them. They connect to the Wi-Fi. So like we were at the shop cooking and connected it to the Wi-Fi, and I could be at home seeing what those internal temperature was. That's pretty cool that you can monitor it like that. But if I would have stuck them in at, midnight, they probably would have been cruising in right there at the end. So I just needed to give them it a little while. And it would really work great. Say if you're going to wrap something, just put them in when you wrap, because, that's a perfect time to start monitoring the temperature anyway. I don't really care. I usually wrap by look instead of going by internal temperature. So from when it's, 30-something degrees, taking them out of the refrigerator to 160, you don't really care. When they start climbing is when you really want to know what they're doing. So, but it is kind of an insurance blanket to know, hey, I'm at home. I'm going to go to bed. I can look at my phone and see where those butts are. It's nice. Maybe you just need multiple probes. You just need a backup group of probes to kick you in once you use all the battery out of those. But as far as working through the smoker on a rotisserie, dude, those things work like a champ.
Yeah, you didn't.
There's no signal loss. Yeah, until they run out of battery, there's no signal loss or anything.
Because you did tell me, you're like, we're going to find out how well these things work
today. Yeah, doing it because I never ran them like that.
Because that's a big, heavy-duty smoker.
It is, yeah.
That's a lot of metal to work through.
To go through. And rotating in there. It's a pretty good distance inside the thing, too.
So put them on at 7. Let them roll.
7 o'clock in the morning, we probed them with the handheld thermopin, and they're soft. They're like butter. And it's like, man, let's just tone this thing off and just let it sit there and cruise. And they rested for, I don't know, they cooled off for maybe an hour, hour and a half, and we pulled them.
Didn't cool off much.
They didn't cool off much, did they? They were so hot. You needed cotton gloves and nitro gloves, and my fingers were still burning. Never fails that somehow, I don't know if it's sweat inside or the gloves get torn and juice gets in. You'll find your weak points pretty fast. It'll burn the crap out of you.
It never fails. Every time we're pulling like a bunch of butts, one of my gloves always leaks. One of my black gloves leaks, and once that liquid gets underneath that white cotton glove and it's holding it to your hand,
this is hot. It's burning.
You come out of it quick,
fast. But we, man, those little crunchy bites from where Mikey crosshatched those, that fat, I ain't gonna lie, I picked several of those off.
Okay, so I wanted to talk about that. Are you a pro crosshatch pattern?
Oh,
pulled pork or
cook it at home all day long? Those are little treats. What it does, so it lets the fat that's rendering underneath that fat cap, it gives it a way to escape.
Yeah.
So you lose some of that. So it's not just this massive wad of fat. They turn into little, just dissolve in your mouth, crunchy bites.
I couldn't resist.
I know, they're so good. I like mixing them, and I like mixing those in with the pulled pork. So when you get pulled pork, I'm a pulled and crunchy guy when it comes to pulled pork. And what that means is I want some of that crunchy bark mixed in with I don't want just meat. I want it to have some texture. I mean, it
and
just
that
the meat's
flavor.
good, but you get so much flavor. That's where you get the smoke, the grill flavor, the seasonings, all of that. Because you're not getting, that bark or that barbecue rub flavor down in the meat unless you apply it afterwards.
Which we did.
Which we always doctored a little bit, but I love having that difference, the pulled and, the lean, a little bit of the, the fattiness and then the crunchiness of the bark. It's so good.
I will say, once you crosshatch and you go to pull them, you can't, if you don't crosshatch, you can just slide your hand underneath that fat cap and it comes off in one big piece. Like you said, it is bigger or whatever, but it's easier to remove that big fat cap.
Without crosshatching it. Yeah,
without crosshatching. That's the only negative I see.
And then you can get that bacon meat because there's 2 layers of fat in there. One of them does not render, so you have to kind of peel that off lightly. And then you got all that good bacon meat. When you crosshatch it, it breaks those up. So every little cube has that good bacon meat in it, and it's, oh man.
It is delicious.
It's really, really good.
So pulled them off the pit, and we kind of had a
assembly line going for that too.
For that,
and Mikey was taking them off the pit and putting them in a pan for us. So Mikey would take them out and put them in a pan, pass them to me and you. We would jerk the bone out, peel the little fat, the little crunchy pieces off, put them to the side, and then start muscling it out and picking out any fat that might not have rendered, and then pulling it and then mixing it back in and then passing it back behind us.
And we seasoned it with
little hot rub,
little AP.
That's all we put on it. Passed it back one table back, and that was the boxing table. So they would take this large pan of meat, and usually, man, you were pretty good at doing 2 at a time in the pan. So
I'm pretty fast.
Yeah, so they were getting 4 butts. And then they were taking them and packing them down into a smaller pan with a lid and a sticker on it that said what it was and sticking them in a Cambro. And, I mean, we worked, 30 minutes maybe?
Yeah.
Half hour to pull those butts. It didn't take long, get them packaged up. And then we were on to beans. Had to pan the beans up.
We kept saying, how many more we got? Mikey's like, oh, there's 2 more.
Keep your head down. That's what he told me. Keep your head down.
2 more layers. We're not even halfway yet. And then he turned around and was like, we're done.
Yeah. I was like, oh, that was fast. When you think about it, we were doing 4 at a time. I mean, it didn't take that long to go through it.
I think there was a time, I think it was last year, we did, I forgot how many pork butts it was. We did just me and you. Was it 20?
Yeah.
At the house?
Probably so, yeah. I forget, I don't know.
It was a graduation party.
Graduation party, yeah. Yep.
That's
the numbers I like to do. Like when you get to doing like 60 and 100, it gets to be an operation. But see, a lot of times we do those, we're not pulling them. We're just selling a whole butt. And so you don't even deal with that part. You take them off, wrap them and pan them or wrap them in full, stick them in a cooler or Cambro. It's a lot faster when you do them whole. Pulling slows you down a little bit.
I will say, you got to have the right equipment if you want to do that many butts.
Yeah. Doing it on multiple grills and, not having a game plan will slow you down big time.
Done that before. This weekend is Memorial Day weekend.
It is. That's, that's always the kickoff of barbecue season.
So they say.
I mean, barbecue season's been kicked off. But that's the big one. That's the big holiday. People open their pools and decide to cook barbecue for Memorial Day.
So let me give you this little statistic.
All right, give it to me.
It's estimated that Americans consume around 7 billion hot dogs from Memorial Day to Labor Day.
7 billion?
Which translates to about 818 hot dogs per second.
Wow.
And that's considered peak hot dog season.
Yeah, peak hot dogs.
And on Memorial Day alone, it's estimated that nearly 72 million hot dogs are eaten.
Holy smokes, that's a lot of hot dogs.
How many people are in America?
There's over 300 million. So. How many?
At least half of them are
eating hot dogs.
Eating hot dogs.
You can't just eat one hot dog. You got to eat multiple. The How to BBQ Right podcast is brought to you by our friends at Primo Grills. Shell, did you know that Primo is the only ceramic grill made right here in the good old USA?
What? Are you telling me that Primo Grills are proudly crafted here in the USA, ensuring top-notch quality and support for local craftsmanship?
I sure am. Plus, Primo Grill not only delivers mouth-watering flavor, but because of their innovative oval design and superior ceramic construction, Primo Grills also gives you a ton of cooking versatility.
Whether you're smoking low and slow or searing a steak to perfection, Primo Grills gives you the consistent heat distribution for mouth-watering results every time.
What she said, y'all. Y'all visit PrimoGrill.com and check them out.
So today I want to talk to you about hot dogs.
I love hot dogs. They're
it's
great.
An American classic.
Yeah. They eat over, I don't know how many billion you just said, but it was a lot.
7 billion. From Memorial Day to Labor Day, peak hot dog season.
Peak hot dog season. That's one season that I don't track, but now I'm going to. It's hot dog season, y'all.
I'm guessing that includes all the hot dogs at ballparks, too.
Yeah. Oh, everywhere. All the hot dogs bought and consumed.
I'll say there's a couple guys in there that are doing like 8 to 10 that are really up in that average.
Yeah. Have you seen that thing where you go to a ball game and have a dog and a beer every inning?
I could do that. No problem.
I think I could too.
Yeah.
9 dogs?
9 dogs, 9 beers.
I can do the 9 beers.
Yeah. I can do that by third inning.
I've done 6 in 10 minutes. Or
the problem is they
shut
shut down the concessions and the beer sales at the 7th inning.
Yeah.
So how do you got to buy them and then you got to drink those last ones while they're hot? No, that would suck.
Maybe you just go to 7.
Nope, you got to do 9. 1 inning.
So what is your favorite way to cook a hot dog?
Well, I've been on my hot dog of choice here lately has been the colossal Nathan's quarter-pound dog. I think, just starting with a good dog makes the one thing, but I like them on the smoker. You don't get that. A lot of people, they think of like grilled hot dogs in the summer. They're thinking of the ones that get the little black blisters and all that stuff. You don't get that on them from the smoker. But they cook slow, and so it's not like you ever dry that hot dog out.
Yeah,
I just like the flavor those big quarter pounds get on the smoker. I mean, I don't know which. I don't have one that's like my favorite.
Yeah, I'll take them all. Yeah,
but a Chicago dog, a nacho dog.
I'm not really talking toppings.
Oh.
I'm talking about
What preparation of the dog do I like the best? Probably on the smoker, and then my next one would be on the flat top.
Oh,
roller dog.
Yeah.
A roller.
Those turn out really good.
Yeah.
You got to go slow.
I'm not, just those steam boiled hot dog or something like that. They're okay, but it's not my favorite. That's good if you're cooking them for a lot of people. You can put them in like your hot dog machine or something like that. But they're just cooked in steam or a little bit of water. It's not. You're not getting optimal dog when you can put it on the smoker, or put it on the flat top, or even grill it.
See, I like them grilled, but I don't want them over grilled.
You don't want to see any blister. You just want them warmed on a grill.
I mean, a little black, but I don't want any of them big bubbles.
You don't like the big black blister bubbles?
No. We went to a friend's party not too long ago, and he had a big cooker, and it was like a bunch of kids, whatever. He's cooking a bunch of dogs and burgers, but he had his fire really low, and he had them on the dogs on the offset side, and was just really cooking them really low. They had the best flavor. They got that grill flavor, but they didn't have, they weren't too burnt.
You didn't get the charriness.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. I just like them all kinds of ways. I like scoring them. Like, you've seen the slot dog thing where it's like the little plastic cutter you put them in and it cuts a grooves. It's kind of like the along the same lines I do when I do the smoked bologna. And hot dogs a lot like bologna, It's a smaller.
They're like cousins.
They got to be, right? But you take it and you just kind of make little crosshatches in it, and it opens it up. So it gives you all these little places to get texture and crunchiness and seasonings in there. So especially if you like a little dry rub on them or you like to glaze them a little bit, because I do. That's the best way to eat a hot dog. It's not just a plain old dog. I mean, I'm gonna add something to it. Make it special.
Have you've never tried taking those colossals, cross hatching it, and smoking it?
Oh yeah, I've done.
Oh, you have done those?
Yeah. Me and Mikey would do the corkscrew. Like you kind of you put your knife thin in it and you roll that dog all down it, and it man, it'll take a regular hot dog and turn that dude into a foot long. But it just spreads out as it cooks. It kind of grows. It's a grower. But yeah, it just, I don't know, it gives it more surface area, and you let some of the grease out of it. Cause I don't like a greasy hot dog. I want it to.
Oh no, I want it greasy.
You want it greasy?
What about sausages?
I'm a Hasselback sausage guy. Like smoked sausage or something like that. I like to Hasselback those, which it just lets, a lot of times when we're doing sausages, we're cutting those up for like a.
Yeah, we're doing like.
Sausage and cheese plate or something.
Yeah. I'm talking sausages that go on a bun.
Oh, you're talking like brats or Italians.
Or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, I like those too. My favorite way to cook those is on a smoker, in a pan of beer with some onions, bring them up, render some of that fat out, get them cooking, and then put them over and just kind of, I guess you would call it a reverse simmer. It's kind of like a reverse cook on them, a reverse sear. Because I'm going to brown them up at the end over the hot area of the grill, over some hot coals to really get that casing kind of, browned on the outside.
Snappy.
But I don't cut my sausages. I'm from the train of thought that you don't want to poke a brat. You don't want to let all that juice out of one of those. You want to keep them juicy.
Well, I think your method gives you kind of best of both worlds because
it does.
Cook them low and slow in the beer bath or
they simmer in there, and so that's fat's cooking and rendering and getting it up to its proper temperature without overcooking it, slowing it down.
And then you pop them on, fire.
Yeah, but like if I'm doing that on a pellet grill, which that's often how I do it. Up around the front and to the side on most pellet grills is hot because that's where your heat's coming out of that heat diverter. And so you can really brown some stuff if you're not going to crowd it up, but you can take those sausages and strategically place them around in those hot spots, and it browns them perfect to where they get a grilled flavor because that heat's really hitting them right there, but you're not going to overcook them. You're not going to burn them up. So that's how I like to do those. And man, there's all kinds of different like brats and Italians and fresh sausages.
Do you have like different methods you cook for different ones, or you just kind of go with what you feel?
The Italian sausages, I don't do those in beer a whole lot. Like a lot of times, I'll just kind of reverse cook them, or if I do them in some liquid, it might just be some water and some onions or something. But I like a good beer brat. So that's kind of my preferred method on those. You
do some of the better brats that I've ever had because you get them really snappy good. And they're flavorful and moist and juicy.
The casing snaps, but they're still juicy. They're not dried out.
Some little peppers, some blue plate mayonnaise.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. I'll put blue plate on
a brat.
I'll put it on a hot dog too. A lot of people don't do that.
Always.
But I'm not really a ketchup person on them. I'm not ketchup in my brats or sausages. I'm not ketchup in my dogs.
On a dog.
Yeah.
But
you put ketchup on a dog? Or you're...
it depends. It's how I'm feeling.
I'm more mustard. But I like the mayonnaise on the bread. I don't just like squeeze the mayonnaise all over it. I can't eat it like that. But smeared out on the bread, on the bun, it's really good.
You know, I love Memorial Day weekend. A lot of times July 4th has the same thing, and especially Labor Day. It's almost like you get multiple days of the holiday.
You do. No, that's when you ask me, what are you cooking for Memorial Day? I was like, well, which one?
Yeah.
Saturday or Sunday?
Because you get that Friday.
Yeah.
You know, afternoon, that evening. That's probably when you go to Mexican.
That's prep day too, though.
Or prep day.
Yeah, because I like to cook I like to plan out my Memorial Day cooked where I know, and then if I'm cooking something that's going to take a long time, I'm usually going to start it on Friday night. That's going to be my big night, the overnight cook. And then as the weekend gets on, stuff gets easier.
Yeah.
Because you get into more of the
you got your
social activities than just cooking.
You're not waking up as early.
Yeah, not waking up. Definitely not setting an alarm clock. I will Saturday morning because I'll get up and check on the butts or brisket I got on. But
so what's your plan?
So I've thought about it. I'm definitely doing overnight pork butt, and if I can find another good brisket, I'm going to go back to Super Low and see if I can find another one of those certified Angus beefs marked down a little bit. I can find one of them. I'm definitely doing one of those. But that's going to be my overnight cook on Friday night.
So you're talking about doing pulled pork and brisket?
Just bear with me.
Okay.
This is a long weekend. A lot of eating.
Okay.
A lot of good eating.
You're in a mood, I can tell.
And then I'm definitely doing some Memphis style dry ribs Saturday.
Okay.
Like I'm going to get up that morning.
That was going to be my request.
I'm going to cook some dry ribs. I know you love them. I'm going to do some dry ribs. I'm going to do a pan of baked beans because Michael loves those. That's probably going to be most of the cooking that I do on Saturday. Just ribs and pulled pork or either ribs and brisket, something like that.
I was wanting a really good homemade potato salad.
Yeah, potato salad? Oh, okay.
Potato salad, like really good one. And then I was going to make some key lime bars for you and Michael.
That sounds good. I like you got to have a dessert to go with it.
You have to.
Yeah. Saturday or Sunday is going to be burgers and dogs day.
Okay.
That's going to be, I've got some brisket burger that we've got in the freezer now.
Yeah.
I'm going to do some burgers. I'm going to do some, just pellet grill burgers.
We got colossal dogs in the fridge.
Colossal dogs in the fridge I've already bought. So I'm doing dogs that day. And then that one will be kind of like salad. Like I'm thinking about either a broccoli salad. I love your broccoli salad. So I'm big craving that. We hadn't had it in a minute. And so we're going to make some of that. And then maybe a corn salad. I don't know, but I like a corn salad. So one day
or just grilled corn.
Yeah, grilled. It's a little early for. You can probably find it at the supermarket. It's not going to be as good as that July 4th corn, but it ought to be good. But we're going to do that, and then Monday, if we're still feeling it, we may do some more dogs or something easy on Monday. Monday will be easy. I didn't do any chicken. I hadn't added chicken.
I was thinking, like, why don't you do a whole chicken and we'll do that I love those little pulled chicken sliders.
Yes. Okay. You got
with the white barbecue sauce
done.
And the pickled red onions.
Done. Doing that. I will be doing pickled red onions because I like that with the pulled pork sandwich too. So that we'll have those all weekend.
What do you serve with pulled pork? Like you're going to set out pulled
beans
pork for
and
Memorial
slaw.
Day.
You got to have beans and slaw. That's the two. I like keeping my side simple. Like, I'm not going to kill myself, so I'll throw together a pan of beans and those. I might do trash can beans that we talked about last episode. I was thinking what kind of beans would be good.
Hey, we got some leftover meat in the fridge.
Yeah. So and I love adding meat to the beans, but I'm just going to do a pan of baked beans, and I like putting them on the pit and just forgetting about them, letting them do their thing nice and slow. It's easy. And then slaw, man, I've been stuck on my super low sweet slaw. Like I've got some great slaw recipes, but that slaw with barbecue sandwich is so good. It's like a fine chop. It's like the old KFC style that I remember as a kid where it was sweet and it was chopped up all real consistent and real small. And that's the best one to put on a barbecue sandwich. So I got to have some of that. But I could double dip on those because it makes a heck of a slaw dog too. It's perfect slaw for a slaw dog. So I'm gonna use a little Memorial Day cheat there and buy buy the slaw instead of make the slaw.
So I was going to ask you, do you have any other little Memorial Day cheats or hacks or?
I don't know if you really call. I mean, like my thing is get a solid game plan first. That way, I know what I'm gonna cook on Friday. If I'm doing a long cook, I'm not getting up Saturday morning and putting a butt or brisket on, thinking I'm gonna have it done in time for everybody to come over and eat. Because I know it's gonna take 12 hours, and then I want to rest it a couple hours. So I'm taking my time, and I'm gonna do that overnight cook. So that's a hack or whatever that I would do. Do your big meats overnight. It's so much easier. You're gonna have a better time when you're hanging out with your friends and family.
And if it gets ready early, throw it in a cooler?
Yeah, if it gets ready, hold it. It does fine. Hopefully it's ready that morning when you get up and you're holding it till lunch. And that's the first thing you're serving people when they come over, because the ribs are probably going to be like a late afternoon. That's going to be dinner that night.
I like how you lay out your day.
Yeah.
My courses.
My courses. I have to plan it because I know there's going to be some cold beverages in there somewhere, some pool time, some sunshine. But I'll get up and I'll put those ribs on, and I can do ribs or the burgers and salt. All that stuff's so simple. Chicken, that's easy to do. It's But another one I would say is go ahead and have your grill clean. Like a lot of people may not. I mean, there's people that probably hadn't even cooked on their grill. It's the first time they're gonna be firing up this weekend. So go ahead and knock all that stuff out early. Go through it, make sure, that you're getting all the charcoal, the dust out, the used pellets for using a pellet grill. There's no grease in it. Get your grates ready to go. Make sure you got your charcoal, your wood, all the supplies you're going to need right there in your grilling area so you're not running around. Or if you're using a propane grill, go get your propane bottles filled up. Make sure everything's good to go before Saturday. Because it's going to be like, if you got to run to the store or something, it's going to be jamming.
I hate that. Yeah.
You want to get all this done, like, if you're listening to the podcast on Friday, it's too late. You should have done this last, Monday, Tuesday is supply gathering day. But that's just some of the good tips.
And then on Fridays, we usually if we're making the pickled red onions, we're making them.
Yeah, but all that stuff that you can prep ahead of time, it just makes it easier on you. It's going to be more enjoyable.
Go ahead and cut up your watermelon, have it in a Tupperware.
Get your watermelons cut up, fruit salad made if you're doing that. I don't know how you're going to do the lemon bars ahead of time or key lime bars, but.
They'll be fine.
They'll be fine.
I saw a recipe on TikTok, and I was like, Malcolm and Michael would love that.
You know what else I wrote on my list?
What?
Deviled eggs.
Is that Memorial Day food?
Yes. Deviled eggs are everyday food. Uh-huh. You got to have some deviled eggs, right?
It has been a minute since we made some good deviled eggs.
I don't know if I had any since Easter. So, but yeah, that one. Oh, and I wrote down Poncho's cheese dip. Or some type of cheese dip. I don't care which one it is.
That's a hack. Buy your cheese dip.
Yeah.
Instead
of making your queso, buy your cheese dip. There's several good brands. Arbo's is a great one. Poncho's is a good one. It's not as good as it used to be, but it's still pretty good.
So this past weekend, you cooked a skirt steak salad. Man. And you made a macaroni salad that was really, really good.
I did. And I was working on it. I don't know if I'm going to slip that one in for Memorial Day again. But it was more of a Mediterranean style pasta salad than it was just a macaroni salad. Yeah, I used was it cavatappi noodles?
You got it.
Yeah, those make the best pasta salads. They're kind of a squiggly macaroni.
Mm-hmm. And they have a good texture.
Great texture. Salad. Yeah, as long as you don't overboil them. 9.5 minutes is the secret on those, and the texture will be perfect.
You had feta.
Yep. Well, what I started with some olive oil, some red wine vinegar, some Italian stallion seasoning, a little bit of honey to sweeten it up, and a juice of one lemon. So it was kind of like a lemon vinaigrette, almost, Italian vinaigrette, and it was really fresh. And so that was the dressing for the pasta salad. And I put feta in it. I put Kalamata olives.
Cucumber,
fresh cucumber, red bell pepper, little red onion, some fresh herbs, and I had to slip some meat in there, so I cut up some Genoa salami. That was, I don't know how Mediterranean that is. I guess it is. Italy's in the Mediterranean. They got salami's over there.
So when you mixed up your vinaigrette, did you toss hot noodles in, or did you let your noodles cool?
Well, so I didn't want to put the feta cheese in warm pasta salad.
Yeah.
So the first thing I did was whisk up the dressing while my noodles were boiling. And when they got hot, I strained them. I didn't shock them, but I go ahead and dump the dressing in there. And then I start stirring it, because as those noodles start to cool from me stirring them and being out of the hot water, they start soaking up all the flavors of it. So they're really flavorful. Then I start adding my other toppings and kind of toss it. And it's not like a super saucy pasta salad.
No.
Everything's kind of coated, but it's real fresh. It's real fresh. But you could throw,
perfect for summer.
And I diced up some tomato and threw it. I didn't mix the tomatoes in because I don't want them to start getting too juicy and changing the color of my pasta salad. So I usually just add those right before I serve it, like chopped tomatoes. But it's simple. But it's really good. It's really a summertime pasta salad. It went great with a skirt steak salad. We kind of had double salads that day.
Macaroni's not really. I mean, it's a salad.
Yeah, but it was a side.
It's a air quote salad.
Man, I'll tell you what. I may have bought the best skirt steak that I've ever bought at Aldi. That thing was awesome. I mean, when I was cutting it up, I was like, oh, shit, come try this. Because I knew the texture was the way it was slicing. But it was, I don't know, it was probably 24 inches long.
Did it look good in the packaging?
Yeah, that's why I bought it. We were just going through Aldi to get some fruit and a few things, and I always go through the meat side. And when I look for skirt steak, because we don't see skirt steak like in Kroger very often or Walmart. They just don't. I don't know why they don't have it. That's just not something sold around here. But I can find it at Aldi. And sometimes there are these real little narrow packages of it. But this one was a big, wide package, and I think I paid like $17 for it. Wasn't that expensive. And it was, a couple pounds. But I always take them and get them out of the package, trim off. I mean, because skirt steak has usually a pretty good layer of fat where they take it off, and it didn't. So I trim it down. So I leave some fat on it, but I take off the big chunks of it.
It is real connective-y.
Yeah. It is. It's just the nature of it. But I take it and then I cut it down into about, 4 or 5 inch pieces, kind of break it down to where they're more manageable on the grill instead of cooking this big, long steak. I can get better sear on it in a smaller piece. And it helps you to know how you're going to slice it up. Because when you serve it, if it's those big, long ones, you got to cut it up anyway. You're not making a 24-inch slice. You're going to cut it up into manageable pieces. And so I just go ahead and do that. And then I got my Weber fire. Actually, I bought a marinade. And I tried a new one. This was just, we were wanting something simple and fast on a Sunday. So it was Better Than Bouillon marinade. It was in a bottle. First time I'd ever seen it.
Do you remember the
Better
flavor?
A steakhouse.
Steakhouse.
Yeah, it was a steakhouse straight. That's all I put that. I cut those skirt steaks into pieces, put them in a Ziploc bag, poured about half that bottle of marinade on it, moved it around a little bit, got it all coated, stuck it in the fridge for 4 hours probably. It was a while. That was around lunch, and I was cooking it later that afternoon for dinner. When I took it, I went and got my grill fired up, the Weber, and I took the meat out of those packages and kind of just drip dry, got the excess marinade off, put them out on a sheet pan, a little TX and a little Al's chimichurri seasoning just for some little herby pop on top. And that's all I put on them. Seared them, and I did, man, these things cooked at 6 minutes flat. I would do like a minute and a half, flip it, minute and a half, turn it, flip it back, turn it, flip it. And then, by the time I did 4 of those, internal temperature was like 127, pulled them off, threw some bread in the oven, like toasty bread, mixed up a little olive oil, balsamic, Italian stallion, like dipping oil. That was super easy. And then when my bread was done, I sliced that steak into strips, and you assembled your own salad with the steak over it, pasta on the side, warm bread with the dipping sauce. Oh, that was a dinner.
Who says barbecue can't be healthy?
Yeah, it wasn't bad. There was a lot of good fresh vegetable and fiber in it. I guess the pasta wasn't that good for you, but the red meat's really good for you.
Did you actually put yours on top of your green salad?
Yeah. I like steak salad. It's a good way to get extra greens in. It goes good. You whipped up a ranch dressing, but I don't think I used ranch. I just used some Italian or some kind of vinaigrette we had in the refrigerator.
Well, the ranch is more for
dipping broccoli and
more for crudité.
But that was a good little Sunday night summertime dinner, and then the storms hit.
So I've got some questions from the community for you.
All right.
This is great. Art said he heard you talking about trying boiled peanuts on the smoker.
Yeah. I saw this.
Oh, you saw this?
He did roasted peanuts.
Oh, well, that got,
Grill.
That was Ken.
Oh, okay. Oh, this was, okay. I'm sorry. I jumped the gun on you. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. No, I'm sorry, John. John roasted some peanuts on the smoker. He threw some blanched peanuts on some foil on a pellet grill for $2.75, and he seasoned them with Holy Voodoo from Meat Church.
Oh, man, that's a good idea.
Yeah, he said they didn't pick up a lot of smoke flavor, which I probably wouldn't expect them to, but
so
definitely better than oven roasted.
So growing up, my family we didn't, boiled peanuts wasn't a thing where we lived, where I grew up in the north part of Mississippi.
We had them all summer long.
Yeah, but so they would always do what they called parched peanuts. And they would take raw peanuts in the shell, spread them out on a baking sheet, and we usually had these around the holidays, like Thanksgiving, Christmas. It was just something that the old timers did. I remember my great uncle every year he would be parching peanuts. And I don't know why they called them parched or what, but it was basically like a roasted peanut. I have to ask my dad what temperature they would do those on in the oven, because that would work on the smoker
Would
too.
they season them or anything?
No, they wouldn't salt them. They would just they'd have been better to me. That was one of my thing. They get it real toasty, like I guess it brings out the oil in the peanut. And so you get some flavor from them, but it's like I like a salted, dry roasted, in the shell, like a ballpark peanut, the kinds you eat and just throw the shells, I like those, but these got more of a toasted kind of, think of like chestnuts roasted on an open fire type thing. That's kind of what they take, it's something like that, but it's peanut.
I bet it made the house.
Yeah, it did. They were good, but I wouldn't say that was I like boiled peanuts better now.
But Art says he does that, but he puts a ham bone or some ham hock in the water while he boils his peanuts.
Oh, yeah.
And he puts some garlic powder, and you could put anything you want.
Yeah, you're basically making a braising liquid for it.
But putting the
Cajun style, like using some of the liquid from a crawfish boil in there on the smoker, and then I hadn't done it yet, but man, if I can find me some raw peanuts this weekend, I may, after that overnight cook, just go on and throw some peanuts.
This is a little much.
You'd be cooking son of a gun, dude.
Yeah, it's Memorial Day. You got to cook, man. You got to fire it up.
Yeah, but somebody's got to clean it up.
That's where the magic happens.
It just
go to
a little
bed.
fairy.
The next day, it's all back. I don't know how it does it.
No, but I thought the ham bone or the ham hock was a really good idea.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
It's going to impart that smokiness,
What if you threw that
extra smokiness
blade bone from that pulled pork off in there and let's let it roll?
That would give you that smokiness.
Mm-hmm.
So Ken, he got an idea from watching your smoked chubba bologna, where you crosshatch it. So he had some really big, thick chicken breasts. So he decided to crosshatch his chicken breasts when he grilled them. It did not make the prettiest chicken breast you've ever seen, but I bet you got way more flavor than you would have, just grilling a plain old chicken breast.
I did that recently. I didn't crosshatch it, but when I did that jerk chicken recipe, and it's been probably a couple months ago, maybe. The chicken breasts were so big. That's where it's like, I see them do it in Jamaica. Like they'll take those big pieces of chicken, especially the breast, and they'll just cut slits across it.
Kind of same.
So it's the same principle. What it does is like when you're marinating, especially, it lets more marinade and stuff get down in the meat. But when you're cooking it, it helps those big pieces to cook faster. Because I guess you're separating it out, and those individual pieces cook better than one big whole tight piece. And so it kind of like if you're cooking dark meat or legs or wings, those breasts cook about the same rate. And it, like you said, it doesn't look that good, but man, it tastes like the flavor it gets is awesome because you get a lot more grill flavor in there. You get all those spices and seasonings down in it, and you're not just eating plain old chicken breast.
That's my biggest complaint about this big old chicken breast is the inside of it just is bland. I mean, I guess if
much flavor,
brined it, it'd be better. But.
Still, it gets a lot more flavor that way. That's a great way to do it. I'm gonna have to try the crosshatch. I've done it with pork loin too. Like crosshatch a pork loin, it does the same thing. You get those little more surface area, the little nooks and crannies. You can get seasoning in them, and then you would think it's I'm gonna dry it out because I'm cutting it. No, it doesn't. And a lot of times, some of those cuts kind of go back together. Like in that chicken breast, I was surprised because I thought I'd cut it too deep because I cut it down to the bone in a couple places. I was like, man, this is going to fall apart on me. No, it's kind of tightened back up together, so it still just had a nice little crease in it.
We were cooking something the other day, and I was like, oh, that's going to go back together. It had like a butcher cut in it.
Yeah.
And it never did.
That was a tri-tip.
Yeah, the tri-tip.
Yeah. Have we released it? We hadn't released that yet.
Not yet.
I did a tri-tip the other day. It was good.
Pat, Do you have any suggestions on cooking a raw or fresh ham steak?
I mean, I'd probably try to smoke it, depending on how thick it is. I guess we're just talking like a slice of a hindquarter of a pig.
I guess.
I mean, it's going to turn out more like barbecue, the way I would recommend doing it. I mean, I don't think you would, I guess you could cook it to where you could cut it like a ham steak, but it's not going to have the same flavor. It's going to taste more like a just piece of pork roast or something doing that to it.
Would you smoke it, rub it?
I would smoke it. Yeah, I'd give me some barbecue seasoning on it, maybe a little binder or something, a couple of rubs, stick all to it, and I'd put it on the pit, treat it like a pork steak. Just that's what it's going to be like. It's going to be like a lot like pork steak. It's just going to be leaner because it doesn't have as much fat down there in the ham area. But it's good. It'd be good. It's going to be, cook it till, it's probably going to need to go to at least 175, 180, I would think. You don't have to take it to like 210 or nothing like that. It's nothing crazy because you're not trying to pull it. But the texture is going to be a lot tighter and it's going to be a lot like pork steak.
Would you glaze it?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd brush a sauce on it at the end, set that. It'd be pretty good. Imagine it's big. Like if I'm thinking like Fred Flintstone looking,
Imagine it'd be thick and big and.
I've never seen an uncured ham steak. That's something new.
I mean, I just Googled it and you can buy them all over the place.
Really?
Yeah.
What does it look like? Is it just white looking meat?
Exactly what you'd think it'd look like.
Yeah. Spin that around. See, that looks cured. That don't look. If that says ham, that's cured. It wouldn't be that pink.
Raw, uncured.
Yeah.
Let's try that keyword.
Because that one's, I guarantee you that picture you just showed me is cured.
It looks like the cross section of a pork butt.
Yeah.
Another question for you. Is it better to smoke or grill country style ribs?
Both.
There is no wrong way.
Yeah. I mean, I like to start them out low, get the fat rendering in them, and then sear them at the end to get that's kind of that char grilled action. That's my preferred way to do a country style rib. But I've done them to where I grilled them first and move them to a pan with sauce and brown sugar and butter and cover them up and then let them get super tender that way. But country style ribs, now there's two different kinds of country style ribs you'll see. One is where they actually take a pork butt and they cut it kind of across and they take that and cut those pieces into nice sized rib looking pieces. That comes off closer to the shoulder. And you could get a few country style ribs out of the loin up in that end that's close to the shoulder. But a lot of times they'll take the rest of that loin and they'll cut those into like, I don't know, 1.5 inches. It's just pork loin that they've cut into 1.5 inch pieces and then squared it back off to where it looks like this little solid rectangle of pork. And you'll see those called country style ribs. And those you don't need to cook too long because they'll get dry on you. They're better for grilling. But the ones that are from the shoulder to butt end, those are the ones that you want to like kind of either do a sear and a braise or braise them long and sear them at the end, some kind of way like that.
How do you tell the difference if they're all labeled country style ribs?
You can tell.
You can.
The loin ones are real lean looking. They look more like that looks like a pork chop, but it's thick and square or a rectangle, You can tell. And then the ones that have kind of some bone, there's going to be some connective tissue. There's going to be some fat, marbling in it. Those are from that shoulder area, and those need to be break down because you're breaking down that tough connective tissue and rendering that fat. So they need to go longer like you would cook a pork butt. And you're still not cooking them to where you can pull them. You're still only cooking them to like, 180, 190, somewhere that stay on the bone and get a good bite, but they're going to hold together.
See, I want them to be kind of soft.
Super soft.
Yeah. I don't want them. I don't want them pulling.
Yeah. You don't want them falling apart, but and so that's going to happen in above 185.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there. Man, coughing today.
All right. I got one more question for you before I'm going to let you go.
All righty.
So Ben bought a whole picanha roast.
Mm-hmm.
Should he slice it and cook it like steaks or smoke it whole like a tri-tip?
Ooh, you can't go wrong with either way. I like them cut up into steaks and skewered and, grilled like that.
I do too.
I like them that way. That's kind
where
of
they're
like the Brazilian steakhouse way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you get that big fat cap.
You get that fat cap on them. But I also like scoring that fat cap and then cooking them that way, low and slow. And then, but still, you only want to cook that thing no higher than 135. Don't go past 135 with it. Like, treat it like you said, like a tri-tip. And you can cut it across the grain that way and slice it into whatever size thickness you want to. So I guess it just depends. I mean,
I feel like the steak,
I love picanha.
I know picanhas.
Man, picanha on a drum smoker with that fat cap cooked whole and that fat cap dripping is one of the finest things you can eat. It is so good. But I don't know. It depends on which way what are you cooking it on? If you're cooking on an open fire grill, I'd probably cut it into steaks and skewer it. If you're cooking it on a pit, I'd probably consider leaving it whole. So that'd be the best take on that. But you're not going to go wrong. Just don't overcook it.
Yeah, that's the only way you mess it up.
That's the only way you mess it up. The only thing I will say, like if you're cooking a whole a whole picanha with a decent fat cap on it over a lot of coals, think of the amount of fat you're fixing to be rendering, because that thing will get away from you before you know it. And it doesn't do it from the start. It's only going to do it when that fat starts melting. When it's really rendering there, when it's getting close to done, that's where you can mess them up. Because when you flip it over and you want to, if you want to flip it over and get that fat kind of crispy a little bit, it's going to start flaming up. And it, so watch it. Just watch it over your coals and your fire. Make sure you got enough distance in between them. Don't panic if it does flame up on you. Just move it over, get it off the grill if you have to. Just know that that's a lot of grease when it starts dripping, and it can roll. So, but it tastes so good.
It's up there for me.
Yeah.
It's one of those up there for me. And I didn't know about picanha till I was grown.
No, I didn't either. Heck no. I wouldn't. I
didn't
probably
grow
eat it at Texas Day Brazil before I ever knew what it was.
Yeah.
That was. And I started looking into different cuts of beef and experimenting with different recipes and stuff, and discovered it and changed my life. The best one's one from one of them Wagyu picanhas that Kevin gets. It's like I think it's a Australian or New Zealand Wagyu that they make. Man,
that's one of the best bites of beef I've ever had.
It is, because it is just phenomenal. It's better than camel.
Tyler, what do you got going for Memorial Day? You doing a
yeah,
like Malcom?
Yeah, what do you
Sounds like I'm doing dishes for y'all and staying in your guest house. No, nothing really crazy. Actually, we're talking about doing wings. Just because my wife, we haven't had them in like a really long time. We had them up here at the shop recently for some Amazon thing we were shooting, and they were so good. And I was like, man, I haven't made wings at home in forever.
Can't go wrong.
So, I love some good wings.
I do wings. I got a Hawaiian macaroni salad that I do that's like kind of, it's,
tell me about that.
So it got spam in it.
It doesn't, but you could. My wife doesn't like spam, but my dad will put spam in there sometimes. But we boil the noodles, and then when they come out, you shock them really quick, and then you put usually a couple capfuls of apple cider vinegar. Mm-hmm. You mix that up and you put it in the fridge, and you kind of let that apple cider vinegar work on the noodles. And then once
you cook the noodles all the way, or do you leave them a little al dente? Yeah.
And then take them out of there, and then you're going to whip up your dressing, which is usually like, I think it's 2 parts sour cream, 1 part mayonnaise, with like cracked black pepper, salt. Sometimes I'll do, some extra seasonings and stuff in there, but it's really simple. Put that in, and then you'll do boiled eggs. So we do boiled eggs chopped up in there, green onions, pretty much like whatever vegetables that we kind of have on hand that go good in a salad, we'll throw in there.
What makes it Hawaiian?
Yeah, that's
the apple cider vinegar.
Okay.
Oh.
So it has like a sweet and sour. Is there something sweet in it?
Yeah. So you put sugar. Sorry, you put sugar in the dressing.
Okay. That makes sense now. So it does have that kind of sweet and sour element. Do you put pineapple in it?
That's what I was expecting.
Yeah, that's what I was waiting on, the pineapple, because I could see that. I've never put pineapple in a macaroni salad, but I bet you if you were trying to go for that sweet and sour, that it would be really good in there.
Yep. Yeah, so it's like I said, we treat it just like whatever's in the fridge, sort of, kind of like a kitchen sink pasta salad.
Like the trash can bean.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll probably do some of that, and thinking about some potato salad, some loaded baked potato salad. So that's it. That's all she wrote.
I'm down for some potato salad, too. I hadn't had that in a minute.
Yeah, some really good.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think the last time I ate potato salad. That's not something I eat a lot of.
I always use your recipe. Like
it's easy.
Yeah, it's super easy. It's technique, but it's easy. You got to use the blue plate, though.
Got to.
Well, Malc, that's all I have for you today.
All right. Well, y'all be sure to head over to the Let's Get to Cooking community on Facebook. Look for the pinned post with the the Primo XXL giveaway that we've gotten started up. all you've got to do is comment on that post. You got to look for that post where we announce the giveaway. Comment what's one of your favorite things to cook for Memorial Day, and you'll be entered. And we're going to run that for a few weeks, and we'll pick a winner.
Heck yeah.
And then we'll give something else away.
All right. Well, thanks for hanging out with us here today. How to Barbecue Right. We will be back next week to do it all again, I hope. No,
we're
going to Chicago. Yeah, if y'all are in Chicago at the Cubs game, I don't know what date we're going to be there, but y'all look for us. I'll be there.
We're going to get us some Italian beef and peppers.
Deep dish pizza.
Chicago
dog.
We're getting a Chicago cut steak.
Italian sandwich. Italian beef. I'm gonna get me some of that. What's the popcorn? It's like half butter, half cheese.
Isn't it called Chicago blend or something like that? I don't know.
It's the best popcorn. It's those big old fat kernels of popcorn, buttery and caramelly. I can't wait. All right. Well, y'all enjoy your Memorial Day. Fire up those grills. We'll see y'all next time. We gone.